Arts Weekly, celebrating regional expression, performance, and creativity, is brought to you in part by the Edward D. and Ione Auer Foundation, the Ian and Mimi Rowland Foundation, the family of Dr. Christopher and Kirsten LaSalle, and the support of viewers like you. Thank you. This is Arts Weekly. Arts Weekly is produced in cooperation with the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design.
Welcome to Arts Weekly. I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. We have some wonderful guests today. In the second half of the show, I'll be joined by Karen Gibbons-Brown, Executive and Artistic Director of the Fort Wayne Ballet. But first, we'll visit with Fort Wayne native Dan Butler, who many of you will know from his time on the TV show Frasier. Dan is in Fort Wayne to direct and star in the IPFW production of Our Town, opening December 6th. This beloved Pulitzer Prize-winning play about the life in one New England town will be intimately staged in the IPFW Studio Theater. Dan will guide the large cast of IPFW students and local theater alumni in an unforgettable look at the everyday lives of the people that make up Grover's Corners. I'm pleased to welcome Dan Butler to Arts Weekly. Thank you for joining us, Dan.
Thank you very much.
And welcome back to Fort Wayne.
Yes, it's the longest period of time I will have been in town since 1976, so
and
it's good.
You were raised in Fort Wayne?
Except for the first 2 years of my life. I was born in Huntington, and yes, I was here from 1956 through 1976.
And you have connections to IPFW because you were a student here for a little bit of
right.
For a little time.
When Frank Kenworthy and Larry Life were the heads of the department out there, I became involved with Pitt when I was still in high school at Northrop, my last year, and I was
Pitt.
Yes. Pitt. Purdue Indiana Theater. Yes, it's a lovely nostalgic term for us.
Yes, I know.
The Pit.
When I first arrived here, people would say, "Are you working in the Pit?" And I think, "I hope not." The Pit.
Hope not.
Now we call it the Studio Theater.
Yes.
But it is the Pit. You worked there, and you went to student here. You were a student here, and you performed as a student. Went to ACTF, or were you not a student when you went to that?
Yes. I was a student officially for only 1 year, and so we did a show, Marathon 33 by June Havoc, which was nominated to go to the regional competition at ACTF, and I was nominated for an Irene Ryan scholarship, and ended up tying and winning the nationals, and that was really what helped take me out of the Midwest.
Right, and took you to where?
Well, I was a little intimidated by big cities, so for 1 year I went to San Jose State University, and then I thought, I don't think, for me, I'm going to learn anything in college theater. I wanted to push myself to the next level. So there was a conservatory at ACT in San Francisco, and I auditioned and got into
American
that.
Conservatory Theater,
Yes.
which is a pre-professional program. That's the difference between a college degree and a conservatory. It's a pre-professional, usually connected to a repertory theater of some sort.
And it was the time when Bill Ball was still artistic director there, and he was one of the giants of the regional movement. So it was a fantastic time to be there.
But you've stayed connected to IPFW.
Oh,
you have
yes.
a scholarship in your name.
Yes.
You and Larry stayed connected while Larry Life was still the chair here, and he, I think, was instrumental in establishing the Dan Butler Scholarship.
Yes, and I came back and did my one-man show, which I'd done off-Broadway, and then my husband, Richard, and I have come back.
After I arrived.
After you arrived, and I think we've done 3 workshops now to have a blast with the students.
Right, you come back for 3 days and put our students through just a military drill of
Yes, but they dive
acting.
into it. They're great. They're so committed.
It always invigorates them, and I appreciate that. But now you're back, something we talked about a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Probably about that. It was first to be a part of the 50th anniversary of IPFW.
That's sort of in a way kicking it off.
Yeah, sort of in a way, a little bit in advance. But you had a window of opportunity, and we wanted to take advantage of it because you've sort of been in love with our town for a while.
Oh, it's followed me around. The first time I ever saw our town was in a South Side High School production when I was growing up. But it's one of those plays that just sticks and with you. And I think we're doing a production that is so unlike any Our Town production you've seen, inspired by something I saw off-Broadway, but then we're turning it into our own thing.
Yeah, and that's the David Cromer version where he just kind of, the actors are right in front of the audience, and it's very intimate.
And I wanted to go back into our old space where we did all our productions, which was Pitt, now it's the Studio Theater. And I think it's 122
seats
capacity, so you're very close to the event. And in fact, you're part of Our Town when you're there.
Right.
And if you haven't seen the show before, you need to, because it's the classic American play. There's nothing like it. And I don't think you'll ever, if you've seen it before, you'll never see a production like this. It's a great combination of students, alums that were in the department when I was there, Kim Detweiler, Kate Black, Denise Dimitrov, who hasn't been on stage for 30 years,
right?
And community members and kids, and it's good. It's good.
But you're taking a twist on it. I mean, it's.
Well,
when you say you're not going to see the traditional Our Town, it's not all kind of stodgy and.
Well, I think people just have that in a recess of their mind, like, oh, it's a sentimental chestnut. But I think just reading the play is a chestnut.
Right.
It's deceptive. We just had a meeting with short meetings with all the members of the cast to see where you were in the process. Is it working well for you? What can we provide that we're not providing? And pushing them to the next level. And one of them was saying, when I first read this, I couldn't get through it because it was a big snore.
Really?
Yes. And he goes, when I got to the third act, I went, oh, this is good. And that's what I think is great about the play. First of all, it's theater, it's not literature, it's to be done and it's to be witnessed in the present
Which
moment.
I think is one of the major mistakes that happens. People teach it in English class in high school because it's Thornton Wilder, and then the next thing you know, that's
what
they're
trying. It's
not
literature.
Right, exactly. No, it's dramatic literature to be performed.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
So just to feel the power of the play so slowly seep into these young actors is a wonderful thing to behold, because you're inspired by it too. You go, oh, this is really potent.
And so, what are the challenges? Have you directed a young college?
No, but it's sort of this works well because the stage manager, which I play, is a little detached and guiding the thing. So it works to be the director as well. But I'm going through a time right now where I just said, I've got to put my acting shoes on now. We're all getting off book, so I'm going to step away from that for a few days. And Richard is co-directing with me, so.
So he's the eye that you can't be right now when you're learning lines. And so what's that like? Starring and directing and starring and directing. And,
it's that anything you do, you start at zero, and it always feels like, gosh, have I really been doing this my whole life? It feels like I just began.
Yeah.
And it sort of bubbles up, and you're letting the play live in you, and it's in your dreams, and your attitude shifts.
I always tell, not always, but I like it when actors, at some point in the process when I'm directing, when actors look at me and go, I'm in the wrong ship. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be in this play, because then I know that they are thinking, working, caring enough to want to get it right.
Well, also, oh, that's funny. We've been telling them, don't try to get it right, and
just try to get it.
Well, all the things we put up as our goals for the 5 weeks, it's like when you state something like that, it's kicked me in the butt, because those are the things I need to work on too.
Right.
And some of them are very simple to say, we're exactly where we need to be right now.
Right.
So don't question it. And we've tried to tell them, especially with this play, be friends with I don't know. That you be in the mystery of it. You don't have to rush to, let that percolate a little bit. Even when you're going up on lines, don't call for line right away. Just see
what happens.
Yes.
Yeah. When I direct, sometimes I have to tell actors the same thing. Say, we're right where we need to be. We have a lot. I have my eye on the end game. You don't have to worry about the end game. Worry about the now game, and I'll worry about that. And lots of times they just want to make sure that they're already where they need to be before they have to be there.
Like they know where they're supposed to be.
Exactly, exactly, yeah.
Yes, it's...
What are the challenges of being in the studio theater? Because you've reconfigured it. It's not always the way we've seen it in the past.
Yeah, challenges,
Because you're on 3 sides, and you also have...
Yes, it's sort of a forum seating, and you know, we're still discovering it because one of the walls hasn't gone up yet, but it feels good. It feels right. I'm going to have Brady, our wonderful assistant, step in and walk my part a little bit more because I want to step out and watch it. But I think it's really suiting it well.
And do you have actors that need to get used to having an audience right there? Because the audience is pretty close.
Right. I think well, you know, they've had their fellow actors in all those seats.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be part of it. But I think it'll feed it. I just have a feeling we've done a lot of exercises on top of just doing scene work that have brought us closer together, and I think it is that feeling that right now this is our town in the room, and we're very shortly going to expand that to every night it'll be a different our town, and we share it with them. I mean, that's what's with a stage manager. My partner is really the audience. So.
Yeah, so exactly. You have a different relationship with the audience than the actors do. But so what does our town say about the community that you want? When an audience leaves and you say you want them to be part of our town, what is it you hope that they get from that experience?
Well, some of that I don't want to say, but you know, what I love and admire about Thornton Wilder is that he, I guess as all artists should, he always stayed in the question. He hasn't come to some profound end point, you know. He's not coming down from the mountaintop and say, his whole life was dealing with the same themes of love and death and how do we live when you know you're going to die, and you know that dreams are, there's no guarantee. There's no you can have plans,
right?
And how you deal with all that, and how you continue to love and go on. And
do you and Richard direct the rehearsal like you direct the weekend workshops that you do?
We blend.
Where you kind of team a scene with the two of you?
We have. We blend. I mean, if I had to define it, and he's urging me more to be the director and he the teacher, but that's come in with some of the extra work we've done, and I've come up with some great exercises in productions I've done this past year that I can't wait to use next week when we're going through the individual storylines of every one of the cast.
All right, so information on getting tickets to Our Town. It opens December 6th at the IPFW Department of Theater Studio Theater in Kettler Hall, not in Williams Theater, that's important, on IPFW campus. It runs December 6th through 15th.
Every night. I mean, not just weekends, all through the week. Right,
because normally we go Thursday. We're going Tuesday through Sunday on both weeks. So ticket information, 260-481-6555, 260-481-6555. Limited seats, only 122 seats each evening for Our Town, directed and starring Dan Butler. Thank you, Dan, for joining me on Arts Weekly.
You're welcome.
I look forward to the production.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break, so please take this time to view our performance calendar of what's coming up in our area. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll be right back with Karen Gibbons-Brown of the Fort Wayne Ballet to learn all about this season's production of The Nutcracker.